Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about how you can set up the exchange rate service in Dynamics 365 Business Central. So I'm on the currencies table. You can access to the currencies table by searching currencies. Then click on the related link. It will bring you to this currencies table. So if say I want to set up a currency exchange rate service, so then I don't need to manually update the exchange rate every day, and then the exchange rate service will grab the exchange rate from the XML feed and automatically update exchange rate through the job queue entry you set up automatically every day. Okay, so if that's the case, you don't want to manually enter the exchange rate every month or every day, then you can set up this exchange rate service. So like if you are in Canada, then you can set up the exchange rate service through the Bank of Canada. Or if you're in another country, let's say your local currency is, let's say even in North America, we have customers who have operations in other countries. For example, this is a customer who has operation in Costa Rica. And this customer wants to set up their exchange rate service in Dynamics 365 Business Central company. If that's the case, and in your general ledger setup, your local currency will be the currency in Costa Rica. So let's say my setup here, my local currency is Costa Rican colon, and the code is CRC, and I set up a $sign for the symbol. If that's the case, and you want to convert like other currency, for example, US dollars, to the local currency of the colon, and you want to get exchange rate through the exchange rate service. So if you are in, so there's a website like, because I said if you are in Canada, you can use Bank of Canada feed, or you can use another website which is called Float Rates. No matter which country you are, if you visit this website, so if you go to the floatrate.com, then floatrates.com, then you can see these on the left hand side, exchange rate by source. These are the major banks they support. So in this case, like it support Bank of Canada, and it support, like if in Costa Rica, it supports Central Bank of Costa Rica, and so all these banks what float rate support. Okay, so then what you can do is like if you can go to their website, then you click on Central Bank of Costa Rica, and then from here, then you can see the exchange rate, and at the bottom you see these two links. The top link, which says XML exchange rate feeds, that's the link we need. So we need to create our exchange rate through that XML feed, and I just need to wait until this page load up. So basically, I don't want to wait there. So I have something open already. When that page load up, right, then you will see something like this. And from this list, then you can find, if we are looking for the Costa Rican colon XML feed, then you have to click on this link. Then it brings you to here automatically, right? Okay, but what URL you can use? Then on the top, that's the URL you can use. So if you copy this URL, and when you set up this exchange rate service, then you just need to paste this URL to this service URL. Okay. So if it's a Canadian company, so I'm gonna switch to another company. That link will be different. That will be cad.xml. How you get to the cad.xml? It's the same way. So from that page we look at earlier, then you can click on that Canadian dollar XML feed. Then you see on the top, that's cad.xml. That's how you get there. So I'm reloading my Business Central, then I'm going to switch to another company, which is the Canadian company. So we have the local currency Canadian dollars. Then you could see how that exchange rate service is set up. Okay, just give me one moment. So it's going to switch to the Crownus Canada company, and then we can take a look of the exchange rate setup here in this company. So if we search for currencies and then go to currencies. Then we can go to the exchange rate service. So you could see in here, in this company, then we have that URL set up as a CAD.xml. So this float rates website is very useful because those major banks that you use in North America, it's all integrated there. So you can just click on different feed, then change that URL, then you are able to load. So when I create this exchange rate service, then automatically at the bottom of this page, when you create a new service, so I'm gonna create a new one so you can see how that looks. Okay. So after you enter those that URL, so if you give it let's say Bank of Costa Rica, okay, I type it wrong, but because I have another one which has already the same name, so yeah, I already have the same name, just try to change it to something else, so to be different. Okay, so that's this is that because I want to show you when you click on that, when you create a new exchange rate service, what it's gonna look like. So you see, after I enter the code description, after I enter the code, it automatically populates these field mappings at the bottom. So these are the ones like you have to enter. So if you look at the source now, it will not give you anything. It will be blank. Why it's blank? The reason is like we haven't filled in the service URL yet. So we have to fill in that service URL. What I'm gonna do, I'm just copy it from here. So then you will have something to select from. If you don't put in this feed, then there's no node from the XML for you to select from. Okay, now I paste this service URL to the service tab. And now if I click on the three dots, then this is what you get. This channel and item is a node from that XML. And then you could see how the data look like because we filled in the URL, then we can see how it looks like. So the first thing you have to do is like you have to map to the item. The item is your parent node. Then you have to tell it the currency code. The currency code, if you expand item, will be your target currency. So US dollar, you want to convert from the Costa Rica colon to US dollars. That's your target currency. And the starting date, you have to give it a date. So that date will be this published date. Okay, that's the date the exchange rate is posted. And this exchange rate amount depend on which one is your base. If you want to set an exchange rate to be 1, or if you want to set a relational exchange rate amount to be 1. Okay, so in this case, I want to set the exchange rate amount to be my base to be 1, and then I can take a look at my relational exchange rate. So if the colon is 1, then it will convert. It will be like 1 US dollars equals to 613 colon. Okay, that's our relational one. Okay, so that's how my exchange rate looks. And if this is the one, then this one exchange rate will be 1 divided by like 613. Will be a small amount, right? That exchange rate will be 0. If you calculate, if you set it up a different way, so right now this one relational should be 613. But if you set it up differently, so you if you remove this one and you remove this node and you change this to be that exchange rate, okay, and that you change this to be your 1, okay, then that rate will be this one, 0.00162961. If you use your calculator, it will be 1 divided by this 644873030. So that's 0.00162996, right? So that's it. So it depends on which one you want to use as 1. So in this case, I want to use this exchange rate to be my 1. to be the base, and then I wanted to show that 613.6448 for today's rate, okay? And also you have to tell the system like the format for this currency code. So from this node, you can see the currency code is CRC. The current this is a 3 target currency. So USD, right? So you want to take the first 3 characters. So you can create another one. So I already have one created. So you can take a look. This one is just using the uppercase. I'm just gonna drag it here. Then you see it has first to third, which means from the first character to the third character, and it's using uppercase US dollar, USD. It will just gonna give you USD. I'm using the uppercase. Otherwise, you can specify the substring and give it start position 1 and the length 3. That will also work. But because in this case, there's only 3 characters, so there's no point for me to do it, right? So I just want those 3 characters to be like in the uppercase. If you have 5 characters, for example, if you go to the currency, target currency, if this USD and blah, 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 there's more than 3 characters, it may be worse for you to define that string. But we only have 3 characters. And so we don't need to define the position. It will automatically grab those 3 characters, all the 3 characters. And in this publish date, starting date, right? So then you have to select a date format. In my case, I will just want to use that US date format. So you could see here, that's the format I want to use. Okay, so that's it. That's the field mapping I want to do. If you're interested to see what is the data exchange definition, you can drill in, but those are automatic. Those are automatic after you set this up. The code you want to use, all those are automatic. So you don't need to drill into that to investigate. And then after you set this up, then you can give it a preview to see if the data populated or not through the XML. And so you see all the data populated for today, because in this company, I set it about all the available currency code, and the US dollar is one of them. Then you can see all the currency code populated in this window. The preview looks good. I can see my exchange rate amount is the base is 1. My relational exchange rate is the for US dollar. Just use that US dollar as example so we can compare, right? So the US dollar one, this is the one like as the sample show up in our XML feed. Yeah, so this is the one. This is the rate we want. So the preview looks good. If you think everything good, then you can just enable this. Okay, before I enable that, I have to disable the other one. Okay, so it will not allow you to enable 2 at the same time. It will allow you, I think, but you can give it a try. But it's no point like you confuse the system. So I'm just gonna refresh this, right? So you could see this is the new one. I just give it another name. Otherwise, it cannot then need to use a duplicate name. I'm just give it another name for demonstration. And then if this is the one you want to enable, then you can click on enable. It will automatically create a job queue entry and automatically set it to run every day. And the starting date is 8 a.m. your local time. Okay. Okay, so this looks good. And then after you come out from that window for exchange rate service setup, then you can click on. So right now, if I refresh, I already have this. I just want to show you. So I can delete this. Then you can see how it looks like when I update. Okay. So now I deleted that. Then you see this is gone. If I click on update exchange rate manually, if you have the job queue, it will run automatically. You don't need to click on manually. I just want to show you the result, how it looks like if you run it. Okay. So now it populated, my exchange rate populated. Okay. So that's how you set up the exchange rate service. So it's very simple if you use this float rates website. Even your local currency is a different one. So some people may ask, does it matter? Like, because in this company, in the general ledger setup, you have to set up your local currency, right? So I have to set up that column. But what if I don't set it up? even you don't set it up, that exchange rate service, because we are using Cologne, so no matter if you set up the local currency in that general ledger setup or not, it will use, because this feed is for that CRC to other currencies, right? Our exchange rate service is for CRC, right? So that's why even it doesn't care what you have set up in NAV or Business Central, in Dynamics NAV or Business Central. It doesn't care the local currency you set up there, because we are using this feed. It will always populate the exchange rate between that local currency and the other currencies. Even I remove the local currency setup in my general ledger setup, that will not detect it. That will not be detected by this exchange rate service. It doesn't care. Okay, but for you, because you have to set it up properly, then you have to set up your local currency in the general ledger setup. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I hope to see you guys again next time.